Before I deliver the rest of my statement, I just want to share with you that maybe thousands of Palestinian children are with us in this room. I see them. I feel them. They are angels. They're coming to you and listening to all of you. And I'm grateful to almost all of you who said so many good things and you demanded immediate ceasefire. So those angels who do not know hatred, they're extending their hands to you. We want peace. We want ceasefire. We want food. We want medicine. We want to stop this war permanently. We want to live in peace with all the children in the region. We don't want the pain that we endure to be endured by anyone else. And I add that those who think that they have a monopoly of pain, they are not really genuine about not feeling the pain of others, because we feel their pain, we understand it because we live it every moment. And let me also add, we are very grateful for the courageous principled position of the United Nations, of the Secretary General, of Mr. Lazzarini of UNRWA, of Mr. Fletcher from OCHA, and the three distinguished humanitarian officers, whether from the United Nations or from Save the Children. If all those peoples and the ICJ and the ICC and so many other reports are not convincing very small number of people of truly the facts on the ground, and they still believe that there is a huge coalition against Israel, then why don't you, the Security Council, again I call, go to Gaza, meet with everyone, investigate the situation, know what is really happening to the Palestinian people, to the children, to the mothers, to the elderly, those who are starving, those who cannot have a hospital to attend to their wounds. Why don't you go there and investigate that situation? And take with you hundreds of journalists to report if all of the reports of the UN is biased, and if the reports of the IPC is not accurate, go and investigate. Take journalists. Take journalists from Washington, from New York, from Los Angeles, from Chicago, from Israel itself, from everyone. Let them go and investigate instead of killing journalists. If the truth is what we're seeking, aren't these the methods of finding the truth? And go to Tel Aviv. Meet with the families of all the hostages and the tens of thousands who are screaming with them, saying, stop the war now so that the hostages to be released. All the hostages that were released, including this lady with us, Ms. Gritsky, was released because of a ceasefire. Ceasefire, save lives. Release hostages. Continuation of the war takes lives and kill our children and women and many others, including Israelis. So if all these things are fabricated and cannot be trusted, go and investigate so that we can have an agreement over the truth and then decide what is needed. The children, I said, that who are milling this room, Palestinian children, who are asking you for a ceasefire and peace, they want to create a new conditions in the Middle East of coexisting with each other. They want to begin the process of healing. They deserve healing, not some to deserve healing and others do not exist. Everybody deserves healing. We have 2.1 million Palestinians who are still alive in the Gaza Strip. They deserve healing and therefore should be given the opportunity to healing. And let me now deliver my statement, Mr. President. Before the world's eyes and under its watch, Israel has imposed famine on the Gaza Strip. It has done so deliberately, cruelly, as a matter of state policy. The Gaza famine, a famine eating away at infants and children. It was described accurately and vividly by Save the Children. A famine now declared in Gaza City and creeping rapidly all over the Gaza Strip. A famine that could have been prevented if deterrence had matched the level of the crimes committed. Israel was presented with a ceasefire deal that could save the lives of 2 million Palestinians and 20 Israeli hostages. But it has chosen instead to expand its military control, escalate its brutality, and continue killing innocent civilians. Again, it does so deliberately and systematically, obsessed with one objective since day one: displacement and dispossession of the Palestinian people, a continuum it has pursued for nearly 80 years. So instead, while the world demands a ceasefire, permanent ceasefire, Israel has indicated clearly that it wants to expand its crimes. Rather than put an end to them, that its choice remains violence, death, and destruction. So again, the world was witness to Israelis' execution of civilians in broad daylight. The second strike on Nasser's hospital was a premeditated strike on medics and journalists who arrived at the scene after the first strike. This is not a war. These are atrocities committed against an entire civilian population, 2 million people, and against all those trying to assist them, to save them, and against all those documenting the crimes. And while Israel prevents UN staff from returning to uphold their mandates in Gaza, it also still prohibits international journalists and international investigations from entering Gaza, insisting to maintain control of the crime scene and to prevent the full reality from reaching the world to evade accountability. Where else could the killing of humanitarians and journalists at such a large scale be tolerated? Where? Where else? Where else could the massacre of civilians day in, day out be tolerated, with reports revealing that civilians constitute at least 83% of the casualties? 83% of the casualties. No power on earth has dared to do anything close to what Israel is doing in total impunity. It incites against the Palestinian people and UN personnel, starting from the Secretary General declaring him persona non grata, effectively instructing its occupation forces to kill, maim, starve, detain, and torture both. Its contempt for international law, for this Council's authority, and for human life is beyond flagrant. And yet, somehow, it still sits among us and around this table. With all this record, still they are sitting here. Mr. President, Israel's illusions about its own might are leading to real death and suffering every single day. In Gaza, certainly, but also in the West Bank, where killings continue, where communities are forcibly displaced from their homes and lands, where Palestinian life and existence are under grave threat, where military incursions in their villages, refugee camps, and cities at their holy sites occur daily, where settlers' violence and terror are unrelenting, more vicious by the day in El Mghayr, Sinjil, East Jerusalem, and Masafer Yatta, where Israel is feverishly expanding settlements, including its illegal plans targeting the E1 to suffocate the Palestinian people, to fragment the Palestinian state, to thwart our self-determination and independence, to destroy the two-state solution. Everywhere the same plan, the same objective, even if the means differ. Get rid of the Palestinian people to seize Palestinian land. Destruction, death, displacement, and endless torment of the indigenous people of this land. But Israel does not understand that its actions constitute not only an existential threat to the Palestinian people, but to the very prospect of ever realizing peace and security in our region. The only path to a peaceful, stable, and secure future goes through Palestine. No peace that can go except through Palestine. An independent and sovereign Palestinian state, a Palestinian people exercising all their rights, attaining justice and living in safety and dignity in their land, living side by side in peace and security with Israel in a region that can then finally enjoy shared peace, security, and prosperity. That vision has been enshrined in countless United Nations resolutions, including of this Security Council, and that is the promise of the New York Declaration. The outcome of the International Conference on the Peaceful Settlement of the Question of Palestine and the implementation of the two-state solution that we must now transform into reality. Mr. President, the Security Council must act now. Almost all of you said that, and the Palestinian children angels are telling you, act now. And with absolute urgency to end the Israeli atrocities and this imposed famine. It cannot continue to delay Chapter 7 action. And my colleague from Pakistan referred to the declaration adopted in Jeddah by the emergency meeting of the foreign minister of the OIC, which I had the honor of representing Palestine in, decided and is urging you to act on the basis of Chapter 7. The world must act to halt this genocide on the Palestinian people and to protect them from Israelis' plans of erasure. States around the world must intensify their efforts to deter these crimes and hold their perpetrators accountable. We need real pressure to stop the flood of suffering and start a flood of humanitarian aid into Gaza, to restore the United Nations presence, including UNRWA, in the occupied Palestinian territory, and restore humanity to humanitarian aid to save millions of people and to let the healing of the unimaginable loss, pain, and trauma to begin. Gaza is hell on earth, but Gaza is the biggest storage place of pain, suffering, blood, tears, and agony. It will be remembered to be the biggest storage place of pain on earth. The pain that our people are going through is beyond description, beyond description. And those who are in pain, they understand the pain of others. They do not claim monopoly in pain for themselves only. Only those who live pain genuinely can understand the pain of others. And that's what unites them with all those who suffer together, and then they hold hands together to put an end to the pain of everyone, not the pain for some and deny it to others. We need a protection force to save our people. This war of atrocities must end, and we are ready for the day after. As Palestine, as Arabs and Muslims countries, and as international partners, and there are so many of them, not only in Europe, but in Europe, North America, in South America, in Africa, in Asia, everywhere. We have a clear plan for the day after, with regional and international support, and Palestine is committed to do its part to ensure its success. Gaza is an integral part of Palestine, and its future is Palestinian. Gaza is a precious part of Palestine, and it is part of the land of the state of Palestine. There is therefore no substitute to Palestine in the governance of Gaza. And Palestine recognizes that its own success is dependent on cooperation with regional and international actors who also have a key role to play. And Palestine is willing to work with the US administration, we keep repeating, Saudi Arabia, and regional partners, France, and international partners, and the members of the Security Council, all of you, and the broader international community to ensure that arrangements for the day after addresses all legitimate concerns in line with international law and the relevant UN resolutions, and are conducive to justice, lasting and lasting and comprehensive peace and security for all. We will only be successful if our efforts complement each other, especially as we share a common objective, peace. That's the common objective, peace. The UN was created for peace. The Security Council is the custodian of the maintenance of international peace and security. That's what unites all of us. For those who want peace, and we do want peace, because we benefit tremendously from peace. War takes the lives of our precious children. We don't want war. We want peace. And if we find partners for peace, then peace will be implemented. We will only be successful if we act now, seriously, and with utmost resolve and conscience, with respect for international law and humanity. Mr. President, all this bloodshed, all this suffering imposes on us all to act immediately, to end this illegal occupation and conflict once and for all, and to chart a credible path for peace and coexistence in our region. My friend, the ambassador of Sierra Leone, gave us fabulous lessons in history of what happened in Africa and former Yugoslavia. Let us not in the future be saying, where were we with genocide committed in the Gaza Strip and in Palestine, and you were paralyzed and you did not do what was supposed to be done in order to stop it and not to allow it to continue. These are wise words that many of our leaders, I remember vividly, especially after Rwanda, started evaluating and saying, why did we fail? Why didn't we act to stop it from happening instead of trying to go after those who committed these atrocities and to bring them to justice? That is good, but that will not bring the million people that were killed in Rwanda. Now we're saying, let's act now to save the 1 million children in Gaza. The rest, the other million, are the older people. Let's act now to save them. Palestine will not disappear. For those who have the illusion that they can negate our existence, that is an illusion, dream. Palestine will not disappear. We are rooted in that national homeland from the beginning of history. The Roman trees of olive are not as old as the Palestinian people. We are older. We are also responsible. We accepted to share that land and to have two-state solution. Israel will not disappear. That's why we're telling you we are going not to allow Palestine to disappear, and the only solution, as all of you say, is the two-state solution. No one can kill their way to peace. Those who think that they have the most powerful army on earth, that they can do whatever they want to, that's an illusion. But what will save all of us is peace and the two-state solution. Even this genocide will not eradicate Palestine. It's a dream, it's an illusion. It will bring more pain to all of us. It will bring more pain. The best way is to end this war. Peace, ceasefire now, and release the hostages, release the prisoners, let them be reunited with their loved ones. But we have an obligation to bring the human suffering to an end. And we must act now. No more delays. Gaza deserves life. The 2 million plus of the people who are still alive in Gaza deserve lives. And it is your obligation to help them to remain alive, although they are starving, although the healing might be almost impossible. But the only option for the healing to begin, especially for the children, stop the fighting, give them food, give them medicine, allow them to re-heal, allow them, inshallah, as we say, God willing, to be able to heal and to dream the big dreams that all children dream, and to fulfill these dreams. Palestine deserves lives. The Holy Land deserves life. It is time. It is time for life. It is time for freedom. It is time for peace. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the permanent observer of the Observer State